And suppose a common man, a layman, who has no experience or no background of spirituality, suppose such a man or a woman, if they decide to become more self-aware after having realized that ultimately what one would want to manifest, when anyway it depends on who they are and how self-aware they are.
Yeah.
Suppose they decide uh, to become more self-aware, how can they go about it, and how can they get started, especially when they do not have any kind of spiritual background or experience.
See, if you say that somebody who is not at all into spirituality, who doesn't have a spark of spirituality, how should that person become self-aware? I might sound very uh, rude in saying that it's not possible. So what I mean is, the spark has to be there. The spark can be grown bigger into a fire with the help of external fuel,
Right.
but the spark itself cannot be given by any teacher or anybody else. Either you have it or don't.
Correct.
So, and this is nature talking.
Correct.
I'm not. I'm not saying that this is my point of view. This is how it is.
Correct. Correct.
So even if a person comes across a Buddha and has to get that impact of a Buddha, he should have certain spark within himself already
Already.
for Buddha to be able to operate on him or her.
Correct. Correct.
If there is nothing, then the only one thing which is capable of igniting that spark is life itself,
Correct.
not people. So even the greatest of the spiritual master ever who walked on the planet, if they come, they won't be able to help you become more self-aware if you don't have that element at all of seeking.
Okay.
If you are living in absolute darkness,
Huh.
we only have to wait for life to create certain situations for us, which it does.
Correct. Correct.
Even without any human beings, the earth itself, the life itself is capable enough to guide one person's spiritual journey into nirvana.
Correct.
But it takes a very long time. So what a spiritual teacher does, or spiritual methods do, or satsang, which is the, like, being in touch with the the people who are also interested in
Correct.
similar things.
Correct.
What it does is it fastens the process. It gives fuel to the spark, and naturally the fire comes out.
Right. Right.
So these situations have to be created. If the person, now let's assuming that he has the spark, and yet somehow he finds himself in the middle of the world where there is nothing spiritual. So the person has to bring himself closer to the fuel,
Correct.
where it could be a teacher, or it could be a community of passionate people who are intensely
Right.
working towards a common cause. And even amongst these communities, it's not that some community is right, and I'm not saying that you should become a cult.
Correct.
So while honoring all the communities, you still would prefer to go where your wavelengths match.
Correct.
Just like you would do with your friend circle. Like if I say, like, why are you sitting with this person? Is that person bad? Then you don't have any answer.
Correct.
It's not that he's bad.
Yeah.
One possibility, I never came across him. I don't even know him. Or I know him, but like the wavelengths match more with this person, which is why he is a friend.
Correct.
So the same reasoning goes with the community, where your wavelengths match with the people, and this responsibility one has to take, instead of saying that this is the right path, or this is the rightmost satsang to be a part of. So this makes it very, like, it kind of hampers your journey than fueling it. Unfortunately, I've seen people affecting their own spiritual life in a negative way after entering a certain
Right.
community, because of the fanatism or the kind of things that you the negative feelings that you nurture,
Yes.
you can still be a part of a happy community, but own the responsibility that I'm with this group because my wavelengths match. That's a very simple answer,
Right.
which I think. So these kind of fuels, whether it's a teacher or a community or a process. So there are some technique that you got to know, and this will fasten the process of your journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about the fundamental responsibility every individual has when it comes to their spiritual journey.
Yeah.
It all comes down to owning up responsibility and making the right choices, and also in the process becoming more self-aware.
Yeah.
So when anyway the process is, or the whole goal, if I can call it that, is to become more self-aware, where does where on how important is a community or company? Because anyway the journey is individual, right? No matter who you're surrounded with. We
Yeah.
spoke about the
Correct.
importance on and the impact of society and the
Right.
surroundings.
Right.
So we kind of came down to this conclusion that it
Yeah.
is one's own inner journey or fundamental responsibility
true.
of an individual. So is it really important to be with the right kind of people?
This is a very interesting question, actually, which is a very important question also, because it brings you closer to the duality. It almost seems like a contradiction when one says, on one hand, we are talking about becoming self-aware, which is to do only with you, which is apart from the societal influence.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, one is also talking about being in touch with a community or a teacher or a process in order to fasten that journey. So there is no clear answer to this, because this question brings us very close to a certain duality. Whenever you come very close to the duality, the words take a very long time to even put it into context or put it into. So if I say, is day important or night, so because they are seemingly opposite, but actually if you see on the other hand, they are not two things, they are one. They're so closely, if you see any polarities in the world, if you see a deeper thing, you can see that they are not really opposing each other, but they are aiding each other. So let me give you an example. If the space within a glass or a vessel, or a bottle, okay, so is that space different from the outer space?
No.
No.
It is space.
Space is space.
Yeah.
Correct. So both are all are one entity. You agree? So, but then if the space has developed a certain identity with the bottle for a long period of time, and the space thinks that now I'm the bottle. Okay. So now, for that bottle, what would be easier to understand that I'm not the bottle, I am this everything apart from me? It will be difficult.
Correct.
So the easier way would be to realize the space within, which means, see, when you're moving from the glass to the space, it it gives you a sense of moving away from the external society further.
Correct.
Because you are going within oneself.
Correct.
Right? But on the other hand, once you are so crystallized in the understanding of your space, then you will see that I am everywhere.
Correct.
Outside also. So this, I told you how it's not that while by becoming spiritual or by becoming self-aware, it's not that we want to isolate ourselves from the society. That's
Correct.
not
Correct.
the intention.
Yeah.
So some people have done that. Some very renowned people have done that. Not as a goal. You should, but as a process.
Correct.
So that means it's like going to the pavilion. So is it because you don't want to play cricket anymore? No.
No.
Because it gives you a certain rest
Hmm.
and equips you to play the game better.
Correct, correct.
So you take yourself off the society, which many honorable teachers have done.
Hmm.
But where the confusion arises, your question comes from the assumption that they did it as if that was the goal.
Huh.
As if the goal only is to disregard the society, to disregard our family relationships, and to go and living in some remote part. If it is a process, then I have certain acceptance to it,
Huh.
because you need a break, even to realize that
Correct.
for anything, even in natural course of life, not for meditation, you need a break from people around you sometimes to be in a better position to
Correct.
love them or to interact with them.
Correct.
So when that is the thing, when we are talking about such an intense process of self-awareness, some people might need the thing that I need to cut off from everyone around, but that's not the goal.
Hmm.
Okay, so and in that journey, because it's so difficult
Hmm. Hmm.
to be on own,
Hmm.
having a smaller segment of people
Hmm.
where you don't feel lost,
Hmm.
that becomes a catalyst.
Ah.
So on one hand, you have taken yourself from
Hmm.
a major chunk of the world,
Hmm.
but suddenly, because it's a first time experience and the inability to be alone, so who should I ask for if I have any doubt or if I have any clarifications?
Correct.
So who should I go to? Now this kind of a thing might again put him back or put her back in the same world.
Hmm.
Instead of that, I'm saying if there is another smaller world that you have created consciously, which you are a part of, there you don't really miss what you have left behind.
Correct.
But at the same time, you continue with your
Correct.
inner journey also.
Exploration. Yes.
So because this whole community is passionate about inner journey.
Correct.
So because in the outer world, they are not passionate about your inner journey.
Yeah.
If you go to the corporate,
True. True.
they don't insist that are you self-aware? When they self-aware, they mean completely different.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
they want you to be able to handle your emotions.
Correct.
That means if you are pissed off with them, don't show. So that's what they want.
Yeah.
So that much self-awareness is enough to
Correct.
survive there.
Correct.
But here when we say self-awareness, it's completely a different
Yeah.
topic that we are talking about.
Yeah.
This they are not bothered about.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for which reason it becomes important to be in touch with that
Hmm.
an arbitrary figure
Hmm.
who is a teacher,
Yeah.
an arbitrary
Correct.
friends, because everything is a makeshift world, right? Like which one is your permanent?
Correct. Correct.
So we can see our childhood friends also sometimes we grow apart
Correct.
after some time.
It's a natural process.
So which at one point we thought it's a permanent
Correct.
relation, and then now after some time it's gone. So that only should give you a clue that everything is makeshift.
Hmm.
So as well create
Correct.
a smaller version of what you are missing,
Hmm.
so that it keeps you on the track.
Correct.
Because being on the track is more important than
Hmm. Hmm.
losing the the whole possibility of
Yeah.
becoming
Yeah.
self-aware.
Yeah. Yeah.